203. Let me get Darren.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
Or they
fill
can get in
it.
the way of the cameras. Like otherwise,
No, as long as everyone's sitting, we're fine. And then just kind of filling it around.
still want to reserve these for like 8 by 8.
Yeah, just for the. Mic check, check, check. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, check. Check, check, check. Test 1, 2. Test. Test 1, 2. Test.
Hello, how you doing? I'm good, thanks. My eyes look tired.
That was great.
Yeah, I did okay. I drink coffee all the time.
Oh yeah.
Much to the detriment of, well, not nonstop, but much to the detriment of my heart.
All right, Patrick. Where's Patrick? All right. Guys, thanks so much for being here today. It means a lot. We're so grateful for your time and your energy and support of this amazing Richmond Kickers organization. Also want to say thank you to Tang and Biscuit. They've been a wonderful partner. We've had several great events here, and we plan to do many more. We had a Women's World Cup watch party here this summer, which was amazing. We've done some post-game gatherings here with the fans and with the coaching staff and the players. I want to thank the media for all that you do for us to support us, particularly our partners ESPN and CBS 6. And our fans. You guys mean everything to us. We've got several Red Army representatives here. I've seen a bunch of them around, Richard Hayes, Elliot Barr, Paul Teasley, and others. You guys mean the world to us. Season ticket holders, you will be receiving at 1 p.m. an email announcing our 2020 season tickets. You'll have the first look at it. About 2 weeks later, we'll open it up to the general public. But obviously, season ticket holders like Scott Hoffman, I'll see you there. We want you guys to have the first look at it to get those seats that you want, particularly in the VIP section. Chris Jennings and Will Selden, will you raise your hand? All right, so any questions on tickets, go see Will and Chris over there after the press conference. Lots of distinguished guests. I won't try to cover all of them, but I did see Parney from the Flying Squirrels. Parney, thanks for flying back early. And next to his partner there, Ed McLaughlin from VCU, and everybody else that joined us here today. I want to say thanks to our founding partners, Woodfin, Bon Secours, U-Crops, Elephant Insurance, and our newest one, Atlantic Union Bank. The Richmond Kickers staff, I can't go through everybody here, but if you see the logo on them, please say hi to them, say thank you. They make the magic happen. They work hard, tirelessly for this organization. We've hired over 10 folks since I started here in January. We're going to continue to bring in great people. I want to particularly point out our Vice President of Sales and Operations, Camp Peary. Camp, raise your hand, please. Vice President of Partnerships, Amy Neal. Please raise your hand, Amy. Back in there, so polite right there. And our coaches, Mika Elovar and Adrian Clulo. Please raise your hand. Really excited to keep on these coaches. It provides some continuity from good ingredients that we had this past season. They're good people. They're good Richmond people, although they're not from Richmond, Finland and England respectively. But they love the game. They love this area. The players love them. And I know the fans that know them realize how important they are to our organization. I want to say thank you to our Kickers Pro Soccer Chairman, Rob Ukrop. Rob, please raise your hand. Rob is extra modest, so if I do a long talk about him, he'll get embarrassed, but he's one of our lead investors with 22 Holdings ownership group. There are other investors here and potential owners as well. I can't thank all of you enough for investing in this incredible organization. Like Rob, they're incredibly generous servant leaders. They want to elevate a true RVA treasure, and they want to harness the world's true soccer global phenomenon and create incredible buzz of inclusivity, community experiences, shared aspirations, and civic pride here in Richmond. All right. Last but not least, I want to welcome Darren Sawatzky and his wife, Jenny. Jenny, please raise your hand. They flew in late last night. This is their first time in Richmond, or at least Jenny's first time. Darren's been here to coach, but can't say thank you and welcome enough to the family. I'm looking forward to meeting your kids as well. I know Skylar will be coming along soon enough. There were three key ingredients and vital elements that we really wanted our next leader of our organization. Experience, advancement, and culture. And I'll go through three of those three ingredients that we're really looking for. Again, experience, advancement, and culture, and why we think we hit a home run or a hat trick or a grand slam, right, Barney? So experience, what we're looking for is a background in successful organizations that combine ambition and winning ways both on the field and in the community. The bookends of Darren's coaching and soccer career are really interesting. As a player, he played in the inaugural season of Major League Soccer in 1996 with New England Revolution. So he was there on the cusp of the new First Division league we have here in the U.S. that is going amazingly well. And then this past season, he was head coach of FC Tucson, which is a new league, USL League One. And so he's been a part of things that are starting, things that are growing, things that are developing. And I think that means a lot about his experience of jumping in with 2 feet into new organizations and new developments. I think also the fact that he played in MLS does add natural credibility to players and coaches and agents and partners. He's had tremendous network that he brings. I mean, he's got every MLS coach in his phone, and he knows everybody in USL, and he knows the college game, and he knows the international game, and he knows agents. So he brings that incredible credibility and network, and thus the reason we gave him the title beyond just head coach of sporting director. As a coach, Darren has been in so many different environments, from the college game to the pro game to the indoor game. He was even head coach of Guam's national team, and we'll have a whole other feature story about that story, him playing and coaching Guam against North Korea. But the piece that was most appealing to us and to bring in was his experience with the Seattle Sounders Soccer Club. In case you didn't know, Seattle Sounders just won their second MLS Cup this past Sunday. It was the last 4 years. They've been in 3 of the 4 MLS Cups. They had 70,000 people at CenturyLink Stadium. And they're an incredible organization. And besides Darren growing up in Seattle and being so close to that area, he played for Seattle before they were MLS. And he is very close to Brian Schmetzer, the head coach. And when I talked to Brian, who was incredibly down to earth and incredibly giving of his time, and it was right before they were playing the MLS Cup final, he talked about Darren's dedication to the sport and his commitment to the community and how he can do more with less. Because the Seattle Sounders, although they're here now, they started in 1974, and Brian Schmetzer is from Seattle and grew up through the club. And he likens it to Richmond in terms of the kind of city and the kind of environment and the growth that we're trying to do with this pro franchise. He also talked about Darren being a teacher, a mentor, and just a good person. So not only does he have all the soccer chops, if you will, he's just very, very good, hardworking person. So the experience piece, I think we really, really did a good job on with Darren. The next piece was advancement. And the big thing that we wanted was someone that had tremendous expertise in identifying and cultivating young, talented, ambitious players. We're third division pro soccer. We're going to have a lot of really good young up-and-coming pros. We're also going to have really good established pros. But Darren has coached at several levels, but he's really tied into that younger age group. Because one of the big roles he had with Seattle Sounders coaching was he oversaw the development of their development academy, which is that kind of 16 to 19-year-old age group, and then he also oversaw their U23 PDL team. And that's kind of a sweet spot where you're really trying to identify and cultivate talent. And so the young players that we have and the old players that we have will benefit from all those different experiences. When I spoke with players that have played for Darren in different teams over his career, they all said the same thing. Incredible passion for the sport, training sessions that were very intense and competitive. Every player is focused on growth every single day. And one of the things I want to tell our players, so we've got a few guys here, I see Scott Thompson back there and Greg Bain back there, is we want them to grow every single day on and off the field. And that's paramount for the sporting director and the head coach. And Darren is an expert at that, in that pathway to becoming a great pro. His knowledge of the game, his licensing, all those you can read about. The third and final piece, and then we'll move on to Darren for Q&A and his statements, is culture. So our mantra is joyful, authentic, united, and our mission is about strengthening community connections here in RVA. Darren fits that. He's extremely passionate, very driven and meticulous. He's a fighter. He's all into everything that he does and gives towards. He's got incredible energy. He's got a positive spirit. And he's got that ability to connect well with anyone. Players, staff, fans, media, coaches, sponsors, you name it. He's very down to earth. He'll talk to anybody. So will you please welcome our newest sporting director and our newest head coach, Darren Sawatzky.
Well, I'm not sure that I can follow that up with much better. Thank you, Matt, for painting a good picture. First, I'm humbled and excited to have this opportunity. For me, it gives me a little bit of goosebumps. And I'll tell you that for me, my wife and I talk all the time about our commitment to things. We talk about jumping in the deep end of the pool. And I'll tell you right now, my wife, my beautiful wife, Ginny, please say hello to her today when you see her, is so supportive because when you're a player and a coach in this game, you tend to move, you tend to have to make adjustments on the fly with your children. And we're grateful for the commitment that the Kickers and Matt and Rob and the organization are making to us. And by the same token, we're here shopping for a house today. We're going to buy a house. We're going to live in Richmond. We're here for the long haul. Being a part of MLS, having a stint in Mexico, stint in England, bouncing around the USL 8 League. I mean, pretty much every acronym in pro soccer in this country I've had some affiliation with. For me, it's about the project and the opportunity, and life's about people. I can't think of a better opportunity than what I've been given and my family's been given here in Richmond. To say we're excited is an understatement. culture is the most important thing to me when it comes to building a team and a group of people. And I hate losing more than I like winning. That's something you'll hear from me a lot. We're going to win. There's no questions, no ifs, ands, or buts. Out the door, we're going to go after this thing. And it will take time to build what we want, because we want what we're going to do to stand the test of time. Mika and I got together this morning, got a chance to talk to Adrian and some of the guys. I want to be here right now. I want my house done. I want to move. I want to be here because I want to get going on the culture, the philosophy, and what we're going to do. So following up from Matt, I kind of have a hard time talking about myself, and to be honest with you, seeing myself on social media so much, I'm ready to make it about what it's really all about, and that's you, the fans, the people that are part of this community, and most importantly, the players. So thank you. Again, we're humbled to be here, and super excited about the opportunity.
So we'll open up. I don't know where Patrick is. Where are you, Patrick? Patrick makes this thing happen. Patrick, you want to lead the question process? We got some media up around here. Dale Grove will start with Total Soccer Show and the Kickers Weekly podcast.
Good to go? All right. I'm sure you can hear me from here. Hi, Darren.
Hello.
Hi, I'd love to know, what does a Darren Sawatzky team look like? Sort of, how's your team going to play? What sort of style can we expect?
Well, I would be remiss to not talk about my dad and where I grew up. You know, my dad had a single father for part of my childhood. He's a union man, hardworking. I expect that from whoever I work with, from coaches and players and that stuff. You come to work every day with your lunchbox and get ready to do the job. My teams are always very competitive, willing to fight. You know, we'll defend well, but more importantly, we'll be on the front foot. Our plan is to go press and attack teams, and we get a hold of the ball, we're going to get to go quickly. I feel like there's a great foundation here. There's a great group of players that are re-signed, and we're going to look to expand on that.
Hi, Darren.
Hello.
Well, the question I had was with regards to youth development. With Richmond, at least the Richmond area, the metro area, being a at least relative soccer hotbed, how do you see yourself being involved with bringing in talent from academies, youth clubs in the area?
And thank you, River City 93 podcast.
So this is a question we could talk about for hours and hours and hours, and I'll be happy to do that with you guys. My wife will drag me away because I will talk till 3 in the morning. I have my personal opinions, and I'll give you part of it, and it will grow. First, one thing I know about my generation, you know, Rob and I played together back in MLS, and I remember the American player, whatever ethnicity or where you're from, where you grew up, money, no money, or any of that, there was a piece of grit, there was a piece of fight, there was an underdog mentality, there was this piece of no matter what, we were in the game. Part of that has been trained out of these kids through all of the superstructure of the youth systems in the United States. I'm part of that. I ran the Sounders Academy for 7 years, and part of what we did was we went away from that thinking that we needed to be a little bit more modern. And I know I'm a little long-winded, but I'm very passionate about youth development. Kids need to understand that every day there's a piece of chicken between me and you, and one of us is eating it. Who's it going to be? And if you don't have that mentality, it doesn't matter how talented you are, where you're from, what you do, okay? Our job is to make sure that a kid, wherever they're from, has that opportunity. So one of the things that I know I will work hard to do is open that door, okay? Through our youth affiliates and how we do things, we want to make sure that every kid that has the opportunity to chase it, okay? So that's one. Next, if you're ready, you're ready. If you're 16 years old, if you're 17 years old, and you're ready to train with pro players for your development, then you need to understand when to get them in, have them train, have them play, whether it's full-time, part-time. If you're talented, you need the opportunities for us to create the pathway. So, long-winded answer to your question is identification and putting them on the correct pathway to make sure we develop them, put them in a Kickers jersey, and then sell them to Real Madrid.
I'm going to jump in a question. Will you tell the group a little bit about the French formation program you did and how it ties into a little bit of development?
Yeah. The French formation license is probably the highest level youth license in the world. By formation, they mean the formation of a pro player, which means really from the age 12, 13 to 17 years old. Basically, it's 100 years worth of experience, knowledge, and education on how pro players have been developed. It's a 2-year course. It was harder and more intense than my 4-year bachelor's degree in college. I was very lucky. MLS sent all of the academy directors from the MLS teams over to Europe. So I went back and forth from Europe, and we did everything from exercise science, child psychology, obviously the X's and O's, incredibly intense. And what they taught us was what we didn't know. And for the most of us, we were on the forefront of player development in the U.S. What I found when I came back after receiving the license was not everybody is super receptive to that amount of knowledge. In fact, it can be intimidating. My job is to try to pass that information on in a way that helps coaches be better, administrators be better, and players get better and develop so that we do have more Christian Pulisic and less Darren Sawatzkys.
Patrick, coming up. Oh. Well, actually, if you go through the mic, it'll go through to the stream. Want to go there first?
I'll go first. Hi. Hey, Darren. Kirk Narotsky from ABC here in Richmond. When the opportunity here presented itself, what's that kind of thing that put you over the top that said this is the place you wanted to be and that you could help take the franchise to that next level?
That's easy. First thing, for me, life is about people. If, bad programs with good people do just fine. Good programs with bad people struggle, and good programs with good people, and they do very, very well. This group of people has the right mindset. They have a great history in the game. The community here, I mean, every time that I've come here, I've had a great experience, even when these guys heckle me and talk behind my back on the bench. I've really enjoyed that. And to have the opportunity to help build a team and work with great people, it's a knockout punch. I'm very lucky and again, very humbled, and I'm excited to try to help as many people as I can in the process.
Hey, Darren. Congratulations. I wanted to hear a little bit about the process that you all went through, Matt, of finding the coach, and then maybe what the final interview was like, or the final series of interviews.
Well, I'll start, but I probably should hand that question off to Matt a little bit because I don't know all of the particulars. I will say this, I met Matt this past year. I've known of Matt. I actually sent some players out of our academy to the university that he had coached at, and they're both great character guys and speak super highly of Matt. But my original connection is through Rob Ukrop. We played together for the New England Revolution in MLS, and we stay in contact as two friends and human beings. And, as the season progressed, we talked just about the game, the league, MLS, just soccer in general, and our families. And, as the season ended and things were distinct in their decision to make a change here, we were just discussing as friends, and it came up in conversation. And from there, I showed my interest because I was very excited and about the opportunity. So from my end, it once the season ended and they'd made the decision to make a change, I right away showed my interest in being here.
Yeah, I mean, from our side, I talked about how he's a home run for us and scored a hat trick with those 3 qualities we were looking for. But we got a really interesting array of quality and quantity of candidates, and we didn't really have to push it out. I mean, the soccer world is small in some ways, even though it's the true global phenomenon. So people from all kinds of backgrounds, American and otherwise, kind of came out, and some big names and people I didn't know, and tried to go down some of those paths. And the more I started to think about the 3 qualities that I mentioned earlier that we wanted for the organization, Darren just fit everything. So talked to coaches that have coached with him, talked to players that have played for him, and recognizing what we needed to kind of turn a corner this year with the team. Wanted somebody that had incredible network. And again, the term sporting director, and sometimes it's called a GM, but sporting director is kind of a soccer term. I wanted someone that had that incredible network of people that he could talk to and say, hey, we need a great left back, or we need a great right back, or we need someone that can help score goals in this kind of style that we're going to play. He can do that a lot faster than I can. And so empowering him to make those moves will be great for the team build out. And I feel like although the temptation would have been to, whether it be to promote, from somebody from the club or within Richmond, or find an up-and-coming coach, and that was a possibility for sure. Having someone as established and as connected as Darren, who had coached in the league, so he knows all the teams, he knows the other organizations, he knows the travel that goes into our league because we're so spread out, and then again, just kind of zeroing in on that Seattle experience. They do things so well there, and as Darren alluded to, I did coach a couple players back at Davidson that played for Darren and came through the Sounders Academy, and so I knew of Darren that way, and I knew how they run things there, and he's the type of person that we wanted to lead our organization.
Elliot Barr, River City 93. Coach, with you having a full year in League One, what are some things you're looking forward to for your second year in the league that were challenges for you last year?
Well, there are two types of teams in our league. One, there's a reserve team format that feeds a main team, and there's standalone teams. You asked about challenges. Last year we did an excellent job in Tucson of moving players to the first team. We had 9 guys training full-time with the first team. They've already signed 2 full-time for next year, and it looks like 2 or 3 more might. So we did a knockout punch. But finishing in 8th with not enough points, I lose sleep at night. So that, as part of this question, that's one of the things that really excite me about Richmond, because it gives us the opportunity to do that. This league, it's sometimes you never know what you're going to get. We played Dallas's North Texas team last year, and when we played them the 3rd time, there were 8 first-team players on the field with Christian Coleman up front, who's a DP, which basically meant there was, $1 million on the field playing against my team, and we didn't spend $1 million. So having to adjust and have an understanding of how to adjust on a game day. You could plan all week, and all of a sudden you may have to make a decision to play a mid-block press, a low block. You may have to do different things. And having that understanding and stuff is challenging but exciting. The league is new. There's new teams coming into the league, which makes it super exciting. And again, I'll say it's not necessarily about the level, it's about the project. I mean, having to adjust to travel, having to adjust to formations, player personnel, this is a very unique league that way. It's exciting to be a coach, and Mika's very knowledgeable and Adrian's very knowledgeable. I'm excited to work with them to meet those challenges.
And I'll just follow up with that. I think the soccer purists in the room, and I'm one of those to some degree, I guess, we get sometimes caught up in style of play and identity and formation. And although Darren is incredibly cerebral and very smart, he wants to win. And his ability to be flexible on any given day against these kind of different opponents and in different environments. The environments that we're going to, Chattanooga's field is very different from Greenville, which is going to be very different from Omaha. We go this year, going to be very different from David Beckham's Inter Miami team down in Florida, very different from New England Revolution playing in Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots play, New England Revolution. So all these environments are going to require some flexibility. And with these teams that Darren's alluding to that are, for lack of a better term, MLS, B teams that are feeding the first team, their formation is going to change. Their system is going to change. They're going to have different players out there. So that wealth of knowledge that he's done and coached so many different experiences and environments comes in really handy. And a couple of the players I talked to, and actually I think Rob asked him this question in kind of somewhat of a phone interview we did, which is give some examples of making in-game changes, and asked the players that he's coached, and they were all very, very good answers, that he's willing to change at halftime to say it's not working, let's do this, and we're going to go win the game because of it.
Hi, Nathan Reynolds, Beautiful Game Network. I know you said getting a house is probably top priority, but between now and when the preseason starts, what are some of the goals you hope to accomplish for yourself and for the club?
Well, we started already. Mika and I have talked pretty much every day, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. Matt and I have talked 2 and 3 times. First, it's player acquisition. How we enhance the 12 guys that are signed right now is going to be very important. We need to get it right. So that's the starting point. From there, we'll look at the ecology on how we build out how we're going to play. I have an idea of how I want us to play, but ultimately players dictate that. And if you have the opportunity to bring in a player that enhances your team and changes things, then I got to beg Matt and Rob and try to get these guys in to do that. So number one is players. Next is getting settled, making sure that my family is comfy in Richmond, and I know they're going to be. And then it's all about planning, like all of the soccer nerd stuff. Now it's about preseason and periodization and all the things that we're going to do that we're all excited about. So That's really the process. Right now, it's about player acquisition.
You want to do any more? You good? All right. Yep.
My name's Justin. I'm just a season ticket holder. One of the things you said earlier that I remember is you said that you hate losing more than you like winning. Mm-hmm. So theoretically, game 1 of the regular season, we're tied, 10 minutes to go. Are you more aggressive to win the game, or are you trying to get the point because you don't want to lose?
All right, well, let's make one thing very clear. I don't play for a point. In fact, I'll use a game from last year here. It was 0-0 with 12 minutes left in the game, and I probably could have locked the game down, stayed in a low block, and got a point playing at Richmond. I subbed on 3 guys to go chase the game at Richmond. Joe Gallardo dribbled half my team and bashed one from 20 yards out. Then Matthias showed up and pinged one at the end, and we lost 2-0. So this is USL League One. And I probably wouldn't be much different if I ever had the opportunity to coach in MLS 10 years from now or whenever. I'm here to win games. I want to play attacking soccer. I want to go after teams, and I want to win the soccer game. At home, you will 100% get us going after teams. Okay? Our team will play till the last second, up 3-0, down 3-0. We will go after the game. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm here to win games. It's time to go for it. And the player development piece, our job is to build the American game and help guys move on. If I'm having guys in USL League One at 20 years old locking games down, if we're up 1-0, that's different. But if it's 0-0, we're going after it.
All right, guys. So again, start in where I started. Thank you so much for your energy and your support and your belief in this organization. This is a brand new chapter. We celebrate the history, particularly next year being the 25th anniversary of the U.S. Open Cup and U.S. Open Cup champion side here, and we are going to celebrate that in different ways. But it's a new chapter for sure, and we're all about going for a championship. We need your support, season ticket holders. You'll be getting an email. I think it might be going out any moment now, 1 o'clock. And everybody else, we hope to see you at City Stadium. Have a great day.